Welcome back. Today we're talking about hiring, inevitably firing probably, staffing, all that fun stuff. So if you're either A, an owner that struggles to find the right employees, or B, a professional that's struggling to find the right salon, home, or shop, today is for you.
Absolutely.
My name is Todd, and I'm here with my wife and business partner, Jen.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to the Hello Hair Pro podcast. So let's jump into this. First of all, this is you see all over the place too, because people are struggling. And I say you see all over the place because in the last podcast we just recorded, we were talking about all of the social media problems that we see. Mm-hmm. So I see this too. All these salons and shops are constantly posting, we're hiring, we're hiring, we're hiring. If you're constantly posting you're hiring, what's going on?
Right.
You're obviously not able to get the people that you need.
Or retain them.
There's
right?
that,
yeah.
For sure. So where are we starting? Like, let's start with, I guess, figuring out who you are. That's where it starts, right?
Yes. Your core values, your beliefs, your culture you want in your salon. And you need to write that out because otherwise I don't know how you'd hire anybody. You have nothing to base it on. Just anyone who walks through the door, is that what your salon is? That's not at ours. But, if you just take anybody.
No, because the most talented person in the world could happen to walk through your door, but if they don't fit your vision, your culture.
Yeah, and what you're doing,
that's
then
not going to be
no
good.
Good to you or any of the staff you currently have. And that's not always easy to not hire someone that could potentially either bring in a bunch of clients or maybe have a bunch of clients. But if they don't fit, and I can truly speak to this because I've not hired people at certain times because they didn't fit what was laid out for how to build the team that we wanted, then they just don't fit. It's sorry, not today. Like your problems in the long run will be way bigger.
Right. So some of the questions that people need to ask themselves, you brought up culture.
Yeah.
That's a great one. What does your culture look like?
Mm-hmm. And if it currently doesn't look the way you want, then what do you want it to look like? And start hiring those people. Start rebuilding to where you want it to be, which then gives you options in your business of what you need to do next.
Another thing to bring up too is social media presence. So if you are somebody that wants your team to be present on social media, take a look at their social media. If they are non-existent on social media, odds are they're going to continue to be non-existent
Correct.
On social media. And if that's important to you, don't make the hire.
Yeah. Again, that's another one. It's a check the box. And if you can't do that, yeah, it's not a good fit.
So we're talking about what your goals are and who you're looking for. Mm-hmm. So experience level, that might be something that's important to you. You might want somebody in that sweet spot of like 3 to 5 years. We tend to, just for an example, we tend to find the right fit first and then worry about experience and technical, because we can teach technical. You can't teach some of the other stuff.
Correct.
So the intangible stuff that people have. It could be as simple as what license does someone have? Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, maybe you might be looking for a barber to fill a role, or you might be looking for an esthetician or whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? So that could be something. How people present themselves. I'm going to let you talk about this.
That's a big one for me. We always do kind of like a coffee chat first, and it's a big deal. Explain
that so that if there's an owner out there.
So what we do at Hello is, someone reaches out, looking to hire, whatever. We look at their background, social media, and all that stuff. We'll generally meet with anybody because I think I'm pretty confident we have a really cool space, and I want everyone and anyone to see it because then they'll talk about it. And second, I like to know what's going on in the industry outside of our salon. So I do think sometimes, we take interviews.
Just having a conversation gets you that information.
Yeah, and I it's very easy to be stuck in the bubble of your own salon. And more recently, I've opened my eyes out that that's not a healthy environment. I need to know what's going on outside of our salon in order to make our salon environment that much better. So for me, I can technically teach most people. But if your presence, if you don't come in dressing your best and putting your best foot forward and ready to like really be open-minded and talk and all that, then I don't know. I don't want to teach that stuff. I want you to be mature, professional, responsible, and all of those things. And that meeting, there's a lot that I can see in that. So if you can present all those and maybe technically you need more help, well, we can help with all that. I don't have a problem. But if you come in and it's kind of apparent that,
I'll say it. If you come in and you don't seem like you give a shit.
Yeah, I was going to say give a fuck.
Give a fuck.
I can't teach give a fuck. I can't.
Right.
And I don't want to. And I don't want to micromanage. We really, truly are building our team off people that can manage themselves. And it's very important to us so that then we can focus on getting them more creative, getting them more technically sound, because we know that they're all about all of the things we're doing and they respect all of them.
Right. And we'll get into how they know what we're doing towards the end of the podcast. And I just want to touch on something quickly. So when you say presence and how people are put together, it's not necessarily like the clothing you're wearing because, so for example,
we have a super versatile staff.
Yeah. So we don't have a dress code. Right. It's very, very limited. But so for example, I've had people that have reached out and I've contacted them immediately and they were like, whoa, I'd love to come in and meet with you. And I'm like, great, I have time. Why don't you come in today? And they're like, but I'm out running errands. I'm not dressed for, and I'm like, don't worry about that because you can tell more from having the conversation. So this isn't,
the presence
you don't
is
have
your
to
whole
show up in
entire
a
vibe.
tux or a gown.
Yeah.
Like, don't be ridiculous, but
it's the vibe you put
vibe.
off. Yeah. That's what I mean by it for sure.
So anything else on any other questions people should ask? I'm sure there are a bunch. It's a 30-minute episode.
I know, actually, you like to always throw in some like critical thinking question just to see like how their mind works, I feel.
Well, I don't want to micromanage anyone, so I need to make, for hiring, I need somebody that can at least solve some
and I like
basic
that.
problems.
Like if you're in this scenario, what would you do? And it is, I've never interviewed, like that until Todd and I went into business together, but I love it because I love to hear their answers and I love to see them like thinking. Like some people are just like, oh, I don't know. And then others are like really trying to answer it. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. They're trying to work through how would they work through this problem.
I think you can tell a lot about a person just by their process.
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm trying to get out of them.
And then I
don't care about the answer.
No,
it's not even about the answer.
No.
I'm not asking questions that have a right or wrong.
Nope.
I'm simply wondering what you would do in this scenario, or if you were ever faced with this, what would you do?
Yeah.
How would you handle it?
Because that shows us how you would do it if you were working with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love to hear their story, and I generally then follow up. Like I want them to talk about themselves first. What do they think they're good at? What do they need the most work at? Like I want their opinion on all that. We do a technical interview anyway once someone is hired, so we'll figure out truly where that is.
Let's point that out too. So we do a technical interview after the person is hired.
Yes.
Because again,
they're hired
it's
on
more
the
important,
vibe.
Right. It's more important for us to find the right fit for our business than it is to find the most technical person in the world.
Correct. And we know we can teach the technical
And we
part.
tell people up front, if you get invited to the technical interview,
you're hired.
You're already hired. And I hope that helps. I have seen some people come in and they're like shaking, doing a haircut or whatever.
Too.
But yeah, of course. But they're already hired.
Yeah.
So I try to be crystal clear about that because I don't want people thinking
that's going to be the deciding factor.
Yeah, this influences it. All that does is it shows us where you might need a little help.
Yeah, it helps set up an education plan.
That's all.
That's it. And how we either get you further or we dial back or whatever it is that's needed. And then I do like to, after they tell their story, it's truly important to tell Hello's story because all of the things that encompasses Hello is very important to Todd and I. And if any one of those is not for them, then we would know it's over. Like we're not budging on the things that we do. So
right,
like
non-negotiable.
And if you're like, I don't really care about that stuff, then we're not the fit for you. So it's important to tell our story of where we are, where we've been and where we're going, because that is how the relationship starts to form.
So I want to get into, this I think is really going to help some owners out there. It might trigger some and it might help some employees. Let's talk about what an employee is not. Instead of defining what an employee is, let's talk about things that you should not be doing owners. I know some of you. I hope you're listening.
You should not be sending your staff on errands.
No.
Or to do your returns or to do your grocery shopping.
If you're...
That's true.
I don't even care if it's an assistant.
No, that's not what they're
there
hired to do.
assist you in the salon.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's an apprentice. That's even worse.
Yeah. You're just teaching
There's somebody trying to get their license. Yeah. So I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but an employee is not, this might trigger people too, and I don't give a shit, but an employee is not your family unless you hire
your family.
Your family, right?
Yes.
So, and we've worked with family in the past. It's all good.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, and I see this, I've seen this on other podcasts. I've seen this on social media. Yeah, we're hiring, we're a family.
I will
What are you,
say,
the fucking Olive Garden?
yeah,
Stop it with
and that gets dicey.
Yeah.
I've always said this salon and the one I owned previously, like, and I don't mean it meanly. I say though, like, I don't care if you don't like each other, because I that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you
start off on the right foot.
I know, is that you treat each other professional, mature, and you're respectful.
Yeah.
Like, and you play well with others. That's truly a really cohesive staff that does that. You don't all need to be best friends. I don't want you to all to be best friends. Like, I need you to have your personal time too, like outside of the salon, and disconnect.
Right.
But
if everything is all connected, it's so
too
much.
It truly,
don't do it.
My other salon had some of that, and it became very toxic because of it. One person's in a fight with one, and it's just bad news.
Whose side are you on?
Yeah, it's just not good.
Well, I saw her looking at me.
So I think there's just this part of, like, when you walk through this door, you leave your personal baggage at the door and you come in and you can, again, I keep saying this, but it's a place to be creative, and it should be your outlet and your, like, safe space to just be whoever's hat you want to be that day. Whatever you come in and you're like, I just want to do creative hair today. I don't care what's going on in my life. Like, great. And you just work with a supportive staff and team that are like, that's beautiful. I love that color. What did you do? And that should be what you get out of it.
So for us, that's not a dismissive. That was just I agree.
I liked it.
I keep feeling like I feel like I keep saying, I agree.
I agree.
On the podcast.
Because I have great points. Don't you agree?
I'll go back to that. So for us, really, what a good employee, or what we look for, and we'll get into our offer later as a little foreshadowing, but it's just basically someone that can grasp what's expected of them, and that is a critical thinker. As far as, I don't need you to solve physics equations. I don't need you to be the smartest person in the room. I need you to be able to figure out some things on your own.
Come up with
because
solutions.
I don't have the time, meaning I don't want to. When I say I don't have the time, most often, I mean I don't want to.
Yeah,
so I don't have the time to teach you all the little stuff over and over and over.
We want mature individual adults.
So when it comes to hiring, looking for a salon or a shop home, what are some things not to do? Jen.
So my previous salon, some of the mistakes that I made, and I like to share my mistakes because I think they're a great way to learn, and I learned from them. So I think that's why I'm like,
what? In this industry, you can make mistakes?
Yeah, I'm like proud.
But I thought it was a highlight reel on Instagram.
I'm proud
Everything's
of
perfect.
those mistakes because I wouldn't be where I am today without them. I'm, unfortunate for the people that maybe had to suffer through it. That I feel bad, but because of it, I'm a better person.
Hopefully they learned what not to look for in an owner.
So yeah, I hope so.
And on that, Mark, I'm going to cut you off again because I think it's important. People that worked for you in the past when you weren't, I feel, as good of an owner as you are now.
Correct.
Probably wouldn't even recognize you.
Correct.
You could hire that same person or people, and they would be like, "Holy shit!
I've grown so much.
This is what I was
even
looking
the last
for."
few months. Yeah, I would agree, and I appreciate that. I really do because I work hard on it. So I first used to just have a meeting in an office, give a tour, and I would only talk about like what we do. I don't think I asked much of themselves. And then if they were hired, I just hired them on the spot and threw them into my current staff. And so that was horrible because...
To a snake pit.
Yes. When I look back, I can't even believe that was our strategy because they got eaten alive by the staff because the staff was frustrated, and they should have been because the owners didn't teach or coach the person we just hired. So they're like, she doesn't know anything, and she didn't. We didn't show her. I just expected the staff to show her. And it was just awful. Any of those people that stayed, I don't even know how. Then the next thing I did, and I actually think you should do this, but you have to know your culture. And at that point, I did not know my culture. So I think you do the interview, and then I always encourage now, and at Hello, they do this. We do this often. Everybody has to. Shadow. Come in and shadow for a couple hours. Stay for a long time, stay for a short time. But come and view the dynamics of the salon and the people that we have working, and truly decide if it's a fit for you.
Because now we're so clear on who we hire that we trust the team.
Yes, to do this. My last salon, when I would do that, if the staff didn't feel that they wanted a new person on or someone that they didn't like, they would make that person so uncomfortable they would never take the job. And I didn't know at the time that was happening. I didn't know that was the culture I was leading. So I think you just have to truly know who your staff is and trust that you're all on the same page, because I think
I have to commend you
important.
for saying that, especially on a podcast where it's on the internet, because I don't think a lot of people would have the balls
To say what?
to just say like, hey, this was the toxic atmosphere that I was responsible for.
Yeah.
But I've grown.
Yeah.
I've changed.
Yeah. Because I guess because I have. So I would never return to that.
And that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. And if you're running a completely toxic shit show of a fucking salon.
And I was. And people loved me, which was great, but I was not doing them any justice.
No.
It wasn't good.
Again, if you're in that position, or if you're an owner that's like, my staff controls everything, it's so toxic here, there are ways out. It's going to take some personal growth.
Yes,
and it's going to take
a hard road.
Some risk, and it's going to take fighting your reactivity, and it's going to take jumping in your car at the end of the day, screaming and then crying while you listen to Adele on the drive home. That's what it's going to take. But you can get there. Did you do that?
Sure. Yeah.
So you can get there, though. That's the good news, is that there is hope.
Yeah.
Right? Obi-Wan Kenobi can come.
Yes.
He is our only hope. So
those are some not to do and to do things. But I think it's just, you really have to be honest with what you have going on in your salon home currently. Because if you're not, and at that point I was not.
So that gets into like overpromising.
Yes.
Like we're doing this, but you're not doing it. You know you're not doing it.
It was smoke and mirrors all around. Where like at Hello, I'm almost just like, if you come on board and we decide to go into this journey together.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see you grow. And I expect that you feel so proud that you got to join this amazing team. And I know that that's how that goes. And that's when the magic happens.
I definitely want to point out, and we'll get into this in a little bit, but I think one of the major errors that people make is hiring too fast.
Yes. And we do that.
And people do it out of desperation. Now. Yeah, we do it slow.
I think there's like the stylist side of me that thinks like everything has to be fast, because like my style itself is fast paced. You know, I enjoy that. I like thrive. And so it's interesting because it's just been more recently where like we'll do an interview and I'm like, I have to get back to them right away. And then I'm like, I don't, because I need to process. I need to think about this. Todd and I need to talk it out, like pros and cons and what are we expecting together. And I think that's a beautiful balance of how you truly find the right people, because you're not just like, yeah, sure, give it a shot. Because if you do that, you're also affecting the other people that you've hired that are trusting you every interview that comes in, that you will hire the right person.
That culture.
Yes. Otherwise, every time you have an interview, they're going to get mad if you don't protect that culture. They're going to be like, they're doing another interview, because you're not hiring the right people. You're just hiring whoever.
What are they going to say?
You're hiring another person. Oh, you're doing another interview? Is that what I just said?
Nice.
That's my interview voice. I have a phone voice too. But you have to. So can I talk, I think here, to stylists? So this is on like the owner side of what to do. I think for a stylist, when you come in, even if you don't have any questions, then I think it's even more important that you absorb that interview of whatever's coming at you. If you don't feel like you like what's being said to you, not a fit. If you walk around and you're like, I can't picture myself here, not a fit. You might have been like, this is my dream salon, but you're in there and you're like, I don't know. If you don't know, it's not for you. I also recently...
that doesn't mean it's not okay to think about things.
Not at all, right. Sometimes we think...
There's a difference.
Like you might see a salon that had, like on the outside, on the social media side, looks like all these things. But like as you're in it, you're like...
Ton of followers.
All kinds of stuff.
They must be successful.
But yet you get in there and you're like, wait, this isn't what I anticipated, but like I thought this is where I wanted to be, so I should just take the job if they offer it to me. Like Maybe you don't take that job, or you do, and in the middle of it, you're like, I'm not loving this. You don't have to stay. One of the people I'll be working with soon, actually, she just went out on her own, but one of her biggest things was the dress code. Like, she's like, I'm so excited to wear color. I'm like, salons that have this one, you all have to look the same. Like, that's so millions of years ago.
Unless that's what you're looking for, and then go for it.
I agree. Thank you for that. Because if
I don't like to tell people what to do.
I think that's
just like
wonderful.
To give the feedback.
But I think if you're in a salon now and there's a few things you don't like, you don't have to stay. I know a lot of people right now, they're like, but I love my owner. You can love your owner, and it doesn't mean you still have to stay. Some people that have left,
love the business owner, not your owner.
Some people that have left our salon, I don't think they didn't love certain things about us. It just wasn't a fit for them or for us. Like that's okay. I want everyone to thrive, and you thrive in an environment that you feel like you fit at. If it's not a fit, find the one that is.
Another reason we don't have contracts because
Nothing.
there's
It's just cool.
Go. We actually don't even do this. So I guess this goes into sort of the firing or letting people go side. We don't do like a 2-week notice. Like,
no.
I don't really see the point, because if you're leaving, I genuinely want people to be happy. There's really no reason. There are circumstances. So like if you're getting yourself set up, or you have some clients already booked, and you're like, hey, I have next week already booked. It would help if I could.
And this is a true story. We've been in this situation where we're like,
sure.
Why don't you finish out next week? Like, we weren't like too bad.
No. We're not booting them out.
No.
But in some circumstances, we almost are, because we think that's what's best for the person. So it's like, if you're not happy here, are you able to start?
This was the conversation, yes.
Yeah, you just recently went through this. Are you able to start at the place that you think you're going to be happier at? Yes, I can start there. Then Great. Go start there.
Yeah. And
why wait 2 weeks to start your journey or something that you're excited about? Go do it.
Yeah.
So
I'm proud of that for us, because we set out to be that as an owner, but just because you say you're going to do it doesn't mean everybody is. Yeah, and we did it. And I was like, wow, we really treated all of that the way we said we were going to.
I'm proud of that also, because I talk to people all the time, a lot on social media or whatever, that are like, hey, I worked for these people. They were so excited. They said they support me the whole time, blah, blah, blah. And then when I left to do my own thing, or when I moved or whatever, they became super salty and pissed off and said, things like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Which is just absurd.
Or said they could work it out, and then they were there they were like, today's your last day.
Right.
Like, well, why didn't you just be honest?
Right. So we're being joined, for people just listening and not watching, we're being joined by Oliver.
You say hello?
Hi.
So if you hear anything in the background, that's him. So one of the things I do want to point out is that we have made mistakes when it's come to this. You've made mistakes. We've also made mistakes at Hello. And I take responsibility because I probably wasn't as clear as I should have been. And I know Jen takes responsibility because she definitely, it's happened one time where she made a snap decision while we were in the interview or while we were in the chat.
Yes.
And you were like, you'd be a great fit to the team. I can't wait to work with you. And then like basically walked out of the room because you were busy. So I was meeting with this person who, by the way, is still on our team and is great. And I'm super stoked.
But it wasn't the correct way to do it at all. It was really bad. And it actually, surprisingly, because it showed poor leadership on the way it was done. And I know that after, like, I learned.
So that's something that we've dealt with. Like we had a conversation about it after because we are the leaders and we need to, we just don't do that. Don't snap hire somebody, just like you wouldn't snap fire. Like if somebody's doing something malicious or stealing or whatever, yes, you fire them, get rid of their ass. But if you don't think it's the right fit, and I'm not saying to be super slow with firing, but if you're trying to work with someone and trying to give them chances, like maybe give them those chances before you
have you told them what's bothering you? Have you told them what expectations they're not meeting? And if you haven't, that's shame on you, even though you might be to the point where you want to kick them out. Like if you haven't given them the chance to make it better, that's on you. And now you need to do that. Unless there's certain circumstances. And then if they can't meet that, that's different. And then they know it's coming. Like they're like, oh, you're right. I can't meet the expectations you have for me. So that it almost becomes an easier to be like, you're released from my team today because you can't play on this team anymore.
Right. And I think that's important too, because a lot of times what I've seen in this industry is people just get reactive, or they shut down. So you'll see an owner that has an issue with the staff, but instead of address the issue, they just like ignore them for 2 weeks.
Like it's going to go away, which
that's not a good play, owners. No. And stylists and barbers, if that happens to you where your owner or somebody, your owner, I fucking hate that I say that because so many people say it. If the business owner or the owner you work for, your employer, it's like what an adult would say. If your employer is ignoring you, you need to move on. You need to find something else to do.
Agreed. That is too, right there though. Like sometimes it's time to part ways and the employee is just like, this isn't working. And like I said, that's okay. Now, in the same point, they could go to the owner and give them what they need from them first to give them a chance to make it right. But if you keep doing that and it's not moving in that direction, you've got to look maybe outside of that salon, which is not easy to do. I understand that. But you also deserve to be happy, just as the business owner does that's in the business, to be happy for the choices they need to make.
Yeah, This industry is, certain things are different, but it's not so different. But like I understand for people, because we've interviewed people that are like, I would love to come work for your salon, but I don't know how my clients would react to moving. Mm-hmm. Great, you have to figure that out, but that is something to think about. But also like, and we just recorded a podcast on
don't want to
pricing or whatever, but like, yeah, you're not
a prisoner to those clients too. Like you have to make choices that make you happy. I've seen owners that are like, where should I put my salon location? Should I put it here or should I put it here? And like my clients, they're mostly located here. I'm like, you should put your salon location, whatever makes you the happiest. And then they can decide at that point what's best for them. But if you make decisions based on other people, generally at some point you're going to be salty about those decisions.
I don't even understand that, and I'm not.
You don't think like that.
I'm not being a jerk.
That's the more people that think like how I do. Like it's like you sometimes you just think too much about everybody else.
Yeah, I could never imagine putting a business.
You have a
in
business
a location
mind though, like that. You know what? Like I don't know. It's just different. Yeah, putting a location that like almost you have people vote on. I've seen that.
Vote.
Like yeah, like a vote.
Who the fuck's voting?
Like your clients, your friends, like
what?
Yeah.
Stop it.
I'm not joking. I can't make this stuff up.
Okay. So we've talked about what not to do. Let's try to help some people figure out what should we be doing? What should I be doing? So I think how to hire 101. Mm-hmm. Before you even look for anybody to hire, before you even do anything,
non-negotiable.
You have to have a couple of things laid out. The first one is your process. What does your hiring process look like? So I'll give you a quick example and you'll probably have to help me out. So It starts off with a conversation. If we can't have a conversation with you, we can't work with you. That's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Then it moves into a little bit of shadowing. And it's not, again, this isn't anything technical. It's just hang out, catch the vibe.
Yeah.
Then,
because it's a relationship once you are hired, right?
Then it moves into shadowing with some instruction. Mm-hmm. And we teach you how to use the software, use some of the technology
for a blow dry so you can experience what a service looks like.
Exactly, experience a service. Again, get a vibe, but a little more now behind the chair and not just off to the side. Mm-hmm. And then I don't want to say final because there's more steps to it, but from there, you're invited to a technical interview. At that point, you're hired and you run through.
I call it a simple service of color and cut.
Sure. This could look whatever. Yeah. For your business, it might look different, but it's to then experience working in our space because everything is different for every setup. So your workflow is going to be different. You might be mixing color. We do that on the floor. Some places don't. So that might add a level of stress. So it's really like an icebreaker, I guess. Our technical interview is like an icebreaker.
Yeah. So that your day one is not just like thrown to the wolves day one.
Right. Your day one is day two.
Yeah.
So
or 5.
From there, we can set up an education plan, which is a big part of what we do. And we walk the walk when it comes to education. We're not saying come in for education. You can watch the busiest stylist.
No, it's
that to me
hands-on
is not
every
education.
Thursday.
That's just you watching somebody.
Yeah.
The next thing that you have to lay out, I believe, is an employee offer that is crystal fucking clear.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again. Crystal fucking clear.
And we have one also. We do all of the stuff we're saying.
So what does that employee offer look like? Yours will look different. Ours, for example, we lay out what we offer, what's expected, and what we offer might just be, I forget off the top of my head what it starts with, but it's basically a list. It's basically bullets of things. So
it's very simple and just very clear. So like if that looks good to you, you're like, oh, now I want to meet with you. I love this. I'm okay with all this.
And we go over this during the chat too with people. We run through that offer because it needs to be crystal fucking clear.
Nobody wants to waste anyone's time.
No. So we run through that. So it's what we offer, all of those like things. Those could be the freedoms that we offer or whatever. It's what's expected. So we lay out what's expected, again, crystal fucking clear to our team or to our potential team so that they know there's no surprises. We lay out who we're looking for. You might be looking for someone with a specific license or somebody with a specific amount of experience, whatever, irrelevant, just have it in there.
Attract what you want.
We lay out the benefits. So this doesn't mean you have to offer healthcare or whatever. That's not
just
what we're talking about.
It's
whatever your offer, whatever your benefits are. What are the benefits that you offer? So we offer a week paid vacation. We offer unlimited sick days, unlimited mental health days, control over your schedule, control over your own pricing, control over what services you offer. So those are all laid out, everything.
Yeah.
Right? And this is something that is living. So this can change, right? You can add to this and you can nail stuff down. We get into what opportunities we provide. Again, if you're a salon owner, this is all great information. If you're somebody looking for a home, use these
to interview.
Flip these as questions, right? What opportunities do you offer? What benefits
and if they don't
offer? What's expected of me?
Right. If they don't have these answers and you're looking to work in a professional salon,
it means they haven't done this work.
Correct. So that if that's what you're looking for, if you're like, oh my God, these are amazing. I want someone that has the answers. If they don't, that salon's probably just not for you because they haven't done that work yet.
Right. Unless what they're looking for is someone to do this work for them, and then you're in the right spot.
Too, yeah.
Yeah. So, where were we? What opportunities we provide, which is a big one, and that can vary actually because we have different contacts in different places. So that comes around to what they're looking for, also, and then we can help sort of.
That's a side combo.
Create opportunities for them. What product lines we work with? We work with clean beauty products. So.
Woohoo!
Yep. Very exciting. That might not be for everyone.
Right.
We lay out all of the brands that we work with, all of the styling products, all of the back bar products. We work through affiliate links. So we describe that. We describe our commission rate. We describe how you get raises, all of these things we go over. What else do we have here? Core values. So we go over our core values. Our principles. And again, I'm crystal fucking clear when I talk to somebody, this is how I make decisions here. And this is how, when I look at hiring, firing, whatever. Okay. For example, integrity is a big one with us.
Yep.
If you don't have integrity, you're not on my team. Your business might not have that. Whatever. Courage is another one that's on our list of principles.
Yeah.
Because we think that it takes courage to have integrity.
Yeah, and to be part of the modern salon today, and we want options to change when we see fit. So we need the people that are going to want to do that too and have the courage to trust in the process of that.
Right. Education is another one that's on there. We don't need to get into because we talk about it probably every episode.
All the time.
Pride. Pride is another one, and I know pride could be looked at as a negative, but I want people to be proud of who they are, who they were, and who they're becoming.
Yeah.
And who you were in the past. Again, this whole podcast is about growth.
Yeah.
So wherever you were, you don't have to necessarily be proud of that, but be proud of that at that point, it was probably better than who you were before that.
Yeah.
So there's this process, So other than core principles, your mission and your vision, who you are, who do you serve, how do you serve them, where are you going, where do you see yourself in the future, what problems in the future has your business solved, and for who and how. We can get in, I think we've already done this in one of the early episodes, but we can get into building that stuff out in the future. But again, if you're a stylist or a barber and you're looking, or esthetician, whatever
you may be for your title.
Yeah, whoever you are is irrelevant. But use this list as a question to sort of reverse interview. And I don't even like calling an interview because, again, it really just breaks down to a conversation.
Yeah, when you get into your coffee chat with whomever is you're going to be working for, and that's even independent stylists. You're still like you still have probably somebody above you, like unless like maybe you're a salon suite, but it's like if you're going in and you're going to pay someone rent, like you want to know this stuff to make sure it's worth to make this move. Like you're going into a salon, you want to know that if it's worth it to you to make the move, and an owner needs to do that because it's worth it for them to hire you. Like it goes full circle.
Agreed. That's super important. I think it's equally as important as if you're going as an independent stylist or you're moving from a commission salon to an independent suite, or you're renting a booth or whatever, that's got to be somewhere you're proud of.
Yes.
It has to fit your
or it's
core
not
principles.
Worth it.
Right.
Hang on till you can find that spot.
So what else? That's it?
That's it.
So hopefully this helped clear up. And you know what we can do? We can get into, in a future episode, we can get into how we create the offer and how we present it to people.
I love that.
So a little teaser. And for now, I guess, thank you for listening.
Make yourself happy, please.
All right, we'll end on that. Thanks for listening. I'm not even going to do a subscribe or anything.
Okay.
That's the call to action today, is to make yourself happy.